lecture number 19 of GU103. Today we'll discuss about user-defined functions or functions, which is one of the most important part of C programming. Without functions, it is hardly possible to write any program in any language, not just C, in any language, whether you go for C, Java, or C++, anything, any language. Functions is one of the most important basic unit of any programming. So, what is function? To explain function, let me explain some requirement. Suppose what I want from a function is, uh, suppose in a program I want to type a line like this multiple times, not just once. Suppose I want to write something every time. Suppose I want to print something like this, and after printing, always I want to print a line exactly like this many times in my program. Maybe I'll write something again. I want to print a line like this, so it means that I want to print the same line, same type of line, this line again and again, multiple times in a program. So how to do this? So I'll explain all the content of this chapter one by one, but first of all, let us understand the complete concept of function with some examples. Okay. So what I'll do here first here, if you see, uh, initially I'll remove this line, all this thing. What I'll do here, I'll write this line here. For example, suppose initially I want this line, so I'll write for integer I equal to 0, I less than 40, I plus plus, and I'll write printf. So this will create a line printf. This concept will be easy, so I'll not explain it in detail. Just just check the code that I have written. You will understand why it will print a line. Let me run this code. See, if I run this code, it is printing a line. So I'm using this editor, is called NetBeans. So here you, as I have already said, ignore all these things. Ignore all these things. This is your output. This line is your output. So it is printing a line. Okay. So now maybe I'll do some calculation here. Suppose I want to perform some addition of two numbers. Okay, integer b equal to 90, and then I'll write integer r equal to a plus b, and then I want to print this. Okay, before printing, every time if I want to print something, my printing value should be between these two, these two lines. So if I print something here, printf, uh, the value is percent %d r. Okay, but after this, what I my requirement is, every time I print this any value here, this value should be covered by two lines, one upper and one down. So I have to copy the same content here to here. Now what will be the output of this complete program? First it will print a line, then it will print a plus b, that is 90. So it will print the value is 90, and then again there is a new line. So let me run this code. See, this is your output up to this. Ignore this part. See, there is a line, then the value is 90, and then there is again another line. So what we are doing here, that there is a small task that is required multiple times, or you can say again and again in the same program. What is the task is to print a line. The line printing is required multiple times in your program, right? So that's why I have written this code, and again I have copied the same code here to do the same task multiple times. But if we go like this, then it is a so if you go like this, then the first problem you are creating is you are generating unnecessary long code. That means your program that you will write has unnecessary long, and you have to type a huge amount of lines for your programming, and which is first of all, it is time consuming to type. This is first point. Second point, even the more negative side is that whenever you want to debug your code, And if you have written a code for a company or some organization, if another guy comes and try to understand your code, it will be very very difficult to understand the complete code. So what is the solution? The solution is called function. So instead of writing the same code, see this part and the this part and line number 10 to 14, this part, these two part are same thing, but you are using the same, writing the same code to do the same purpose. So instead of doing all this, we can write a function. Let me write a function. I'll explain all these thing to you. Just let me write the function. I'll write print line. Okay, and then what I will do, I'll copy this thing, control X, right here. Okay, and here I'll just print line, and I'll remove this also. And let me run the code. See, it is showing the exact same thing. The value is missing. Oh, the printf line, I've deleted the printf also for R. Let me write this. Okay, so now if I run the code, it will give you the same output as it was showing previously. See, it is showing the same result. The value is 90. Okay, so what I have done here, see, instead of writing this code, this particular code two times or multiple times, every time whenever I want to print a line, what I have done, I have written this code in a separate module. That module is called a function. So I have written this code in a separate module. I've given a name to this module. The module name is called print line. Okay, so that this module is called function in C. So one by one, I'll explain you all the details or specification of functions. Right now here you just assume that void and print line. So why void, that also I'll explain. And then what I am doing, so here instead of writing this code, I'll just call this function. I'll just call this function print line. So what will happen, your program will start from here. Then the moment it will come here and it sees that there is a function called print line, it will, the control will jump from here to this function and it will execute all these things. After executing the last line, automatically the control will return from where you have called it. From where you have called it from line number 9, right? So after line number 9, it will start executing from line number 10. So it will execute 10, 11, then 12, then 13. After 13, when it go to 14 again, so 14 is again a function call print line. So it, from here it will jump to this function again, and again it will execute all this line 3, 4, 5, and 6. And after this line, it will again jump from here to where it has been called. From where last time it has been called, it was called from line number 14. So it will come here, and then it will execute line number 15. So this is the functionality of a what you can say a function. So let me execute this code step by step. I'll let me debug the code. So now I am debugging the code. So now the every of the first, when the program will start, it will start from main program. That you have to remember, that every time whenever you start a program, it will start executing from the main function. And now that what function I have not used till now in this course, but you have to remember from now that main is also a function. You can see there is no much difference between this function and this function, only there is an integer written here and it's a void written here. So main is also a function, and every time when you run a program, it start execution from main. So hence here in this particular case, when the program will start execution, it will start executing from main, and the first line of main is a function called print line. So what will happen if we execute this line? The moment I execute this line, the control will jump from here to here, this function. Let me check step into. The moment I click here, it's the moment I click here, it is jumped from here to here. Okay, so it will execute all this code. It will print I for 40 times, right? It will print I for 40 times. Current value of I is 16. I'll just step over of this for loop. Okay. Uh, Okay, and so it's printed this character for 40 times, and now it will execute this line printf. So after executing this line printf, where the control will go? See, this is the last line of this function. So after printing printf, it will again jump to the function from where it has been called. From where it has been called, it is showing here in this color. So from this line, you call this function. So after executing the last line of this function, the control will return from here to here after this line. So this line is now executing. So when the control will return from here, it will jump to this line number 10. See, from here, when I click next again, it will jump from here to line number 10. Then it will execute line number 10, 11, 12. Then it will print this. Okay, after printing again, it is showing that print line. So where it will jump from here, it will again jump from here to line number 3. See, it is again jump from here to line number 3. Then it will again print this for loop multiple times. I'm skipping all this. I'm clicking here, so it will, so it is executed for loop, and now control is here. So again, after executing this line, your control is at the end of this function. So now if I execute again, press this button, so it will execute complete this function, and you have to return from here to where the function has been called. From where the function has been called, function has been currently called from this line number 14, right? So the moment you press here next, it will, the control will come to line number 15 after the line next, after line number 14. See, the control is here. So now if I run it will return, and your function is done, your program is done. So what we have understand from this program, that if we can write a function always to separate the common content or common programming segment to a different module, and we can write it separately. Here we want this to this is the code. This code is for printing a line, and that code is required multiple times in my program. Every time, many times I need to call this. So instead of writing it multiple times in main, we can write it separately in a separate module, and that module is called a function. We have to give a name to this function, and we can call this function. So some more detail about this function. It is written void because this function is not returning anything. You will understand it very shortly, but just remember that this is void. You have to give a name to this function. This name can be same as a variable name. Like the rule of writing a function name is same as writing a variable name. We have to remember the same thing. And then there is a empty parenthesis here. It is empty because sometime we have to pass parameter here, but that I will cover next. Okay, so you have to write void here, and then yeah, there is a function name, and then empty parenthesis, and then this curly brace, and then you have to write the function body here completely. And in main, what you have to write here is, whenever you want to print a line, you just call this function. Call this function. Calling function means you have to write the name of this function here, and then semicolon. So in this way you can call this function. And how it is executing, that I have already shown you, that control will jump from here to here, it will execute, and then return to the next line from where you have called. Okay, so now you can relate it with some predefined function that you have already used. If you remember, I have mentioned that once in class, that you have to understand all the functions written in math.h, right? So what are the functions written in math.h? One of the function is power, pow. Another function is sqrt, square root. Maybe you have already used all these things. So suppose you want to calculate the power of a and b. Suppose a is 10. So if you want to calculate a to the power b, we normally use this, right? A comma b from math.h. Math.h. So what is this? So it is showing error because I have not included math.h here. So if I include math.h, it will not show error. But when we show this, when we write this, it will calculate the power of a to a. It will calculate a to the power b, right? But we are writing pow this. So what is this? This is actually a function. This is actually a function we are calling. It is already written somewhere, but in this function we have to pass two parameters, a and b. That will be clear in very shortly. Also, if you see this printf, I'm deleting this because this pow has no meaning here. What is this printf? Printf is also a function. You are supplying some argument to this function, and printf is printing something to the screen. So this part, there are multiple parts of a function. This is called function calling. So you are calling a function from here. This is called function call, and you have written a function here. So this is called function declare. You have declared a function here. Sorry, it's a defined a function here. This is called function definition. You have defined a function. This is called function calling. Okay, function calling, and this is function definition. You have defined the function here. So in the definition also, this part is called function head, and this part is called function body. All these things are also written in book, so you can read the book and it will be clear. So now what will happen, suppose if I write this code here, if I write this function here after the main, or basically if I define the function after calling the function. See, previously what was happening, previously I defined the code before main, so I was defining the function before calling that function. Now I am defining the function here from line number 12, but I'm calling it from 3. So it means that I'm calling this function before defining it. So let me see whether it will run or not. Most compiler it will show an error. Let me see. See, it is running here, but most probably it is showing some warning. Uh, so it is not showing here, but yeah, it is showing some warning. So it is not actually, it will not run for every compiler. In some compiler, it may give you an error because you are using, you see, there was some error warning already showing here. See, warning, conflicting types. So it may create a problem. Why? Because you are calling it before defining it. So in this case, you have to declare the function also. You have to write this void, then print line. If you write this, then it is perfectly normal for all the compilers. So always remember this. It may create this type. Oh, sorry. This warning may be for some different reason. Conflict and print line. Okay, print line may be some keyword also. So maybe let me rename it with print line one. Print line one. I don't think now this warning will be, see there is so it was a different warning, not for function declaration. So there was no issue here in this particular compiler if I write the function definition here or before main or after main, but it may create problems. So always remember, if you are if you are defining a function before calling it, that means if you are calling it here, if you define it here, then no problem. But if you are defining it after calling the program, then it's better to declare this program here like this. Declare means declare will normally happen just after the header lines or outside the main. Okay, we sometimes we also call this as function prototype. So sometime maybe you also heard this term, function prototype. Function prototype and function declaration are same thing. You have to declare it. So it's a good programming practice in C to maintain these three parts of a function. Function declaration, declare a function, no matter you are defining it before main or after main. For safe side, declare a function. That means use the function prototype, then you define the function. Use this is the definition of a function, and then you can call it from anywhere, not just from main. You can also call a function from another function also. It is also possible. Okay, so this is how a basics of function works. Now let me change my criteria. So now what is my uh, uh, requirement is different now. Now my requirement is here, for example, suppose I want to print this line for up to this length. Here I want to print this line up to this length, and here maybe I want to print a line of different length. So here, if you see, the task is similar but not same. Similar but not same means I'm still making a line, but length of the line is different every time. Here I have to create a line up to 40. Here I want to create a line up to 10. Here I want to create a line up to 50. So I'm creating a line, but line size is different every time. So what do you think? do you should I go for multiple lines? Because here if we go for this particular function here, it is always printing a line of size 40. So how can we change it? So for this you need to pass a parameter also. So let me change it like this: integer. You define a parameter here, integer for 10 suppose, and then you write here less than n, and you pass here some values, 40, right here 50. Okay, it will, now it will work. Let me run it, then I'll explain it. See, now this line is printing up to here, but this line is printing up to here. That is, length is different. First length is 40, second length is 50. So how I'm doing all these things here? There is a only there is a basic difference between this function and the previous function. Here, when I am calling this function, I am supplying a value also. Previously there was, I was not supplying anything. Now I am supplying a integer constant. Here I am supplying 40, here I am supplying 50. So let us concentrate on this. When I'm calling this and I'm supplying 40, so control will jump from here to this function, right? It will jump from here to here. So when it will jump, it will not jump directly. It will also carry a value. It will jump with this one, this value. This is 40. So this 40 will come here in this value, this variable, integer n. So when you call from here, it will jump from here to here, and with this value 40 will come here and store it in n. So the moment it will jump from here to here, the value of this n is now 40. So it will print 40 times and then it will return. So the moment it will return from here to line number 6 here. Then it will execute this line. Again, it will you will call again this function, but this time you'll call this function with a value called 50. So when it will come from here to here, it will come control here. The control will come here, but this 50 will be stored in this n now. So now in the second time when we call this function, the value of n will be 50. So the line size will be 50 here. Okay. So this n is called parameter, function parameter. So when I said that, if you remember, I said that the entire thing here is called function definition, and here this is called function head of the function, and the head of the function, this is called return type. This is still I have not explained properly, but it is void now. This is the function name, and this is called parameters. These are called parameters. There can be multiple parameters also. Instead of integer n, there should be integer m. There are two parameters also, but if there are two parameters here, you have to supply two parameters here also, like this. Okay, this is according to the requirement. Here my requirement is supplying one parameter is enough. I no need to supply two parameters here, right? But always remember, if this side, this function, this head of this definition must be same as declaration. So in declaration also you have to write integer, but always remember, in function declaration or in function prototype, writing n, this variable name is not required, and it's not necessary. Just typing, just mentioning the type of this parameter is enough. Or remember again, this is called parameter. These are called parameters. Okay. So that's why, let me debug this code again for you. If I press debug button, so the control will start from here. So now control is here. So the moment I press the next button here, the control will jump from here to here. See, control jump. So what is the value of n? You can check, the value of n is 40. See, the value of n, it is showing as 40. It means that this 40 is now copied to this n, initialized to this n. Now if I run this code here, the value of this n is 40. So this line size will be 40. So I'm not, so so this for loop will repeat like this. I'm not showing everything, I'm just coming out of this for loop. So now if I go for next, it will be here. And now if I click next, it will return the code from here to main. But which, from where in main? We have called this function from here, right? So it will return after this line, that is line number 6. It will return to line number 6, execute this, then it will print this, and now again there is another print line. So now again, if I click next, it will jump here, but with a new value of n. Suppose check here, now the value of n is 50. Previously it was 40. Well, it is 50 because you have called this print line with a new value 50. So now this 50 is copied to n. So now here, in this case, this for loop will print this character how many times? 50 times. So that's why the line is longer. So I'm just coming out of this for loop. Okay, so now again I will go to return. After if I press now again, it will return from this function. Where it will return, it will return of the next line from where it has been called. So it is called from line number 10, so it will return at line number 11. Okay, and line number 11 is the stopping of this complete function, because this is the return zero of main function, so my program will stop here. Okay, so I hope it is clear, the basics of function is clear. So one by one I'm explaining all these things. First of all, I have created a function with no parameter and no return. So then I have explained you a function which is parameter but no return. Okay, and I hope you understand the requirement. The first requirement was just printing a line, just printing a line of fixed size 40 size. So at that time parameter passing was not required. My second requirement was I want to print a line, but the size should be vary. Sometimes it should be 40, sometimes 50, sometimes 10. So in this case I have to pass the size of the line when I'm calling the function. So I need one parameter here, right? So now the next function that I will write, it also needs to return something. Okay, now consider that I have two variables a and b. A equal to 10 and integer b equal to 50, and I want to calculate the average. So I'll write integer r equal to a plus b, then divided by 2, right? Then that is the average, and I can print this. But assume that this average calculation is required every time, multiple times. Okay, so what we can do, we can create a separate function for calculating average, right? So that we can do here. But since for calculating average I need two values, so one value will not be enough. What I will do here, I'll create two values, integer, suppose a1, integer b1. These are the two values, and then maybe I can write integer r1 equal to a1 plus b1. Okay, and then I can write r1 equal to uh, r1 by 2. That will be the average. Okay, so here also I have to write integer because this function is that need two things. So here instead of this line, what I can write here is get average a comma b. Okay, so if I run this code, I was previously, my code was that I want to calculate the average and I want to print this average also. Not so here if you run this code, what will happen, it will start executing from here, it will go here, and from here it will jump to get average, and when it will go to get average, you are passing the value of a and b. So the value of a will be copied to a1 and b will be copied to b1. So a1 will be 10, b1 will be 50. Okay, so here integer r1 will be a1 plus b1, that is 50 plus 10 60. So average, and here after this line the value of r1 will be 30, average is 30. Okay, so now, and then after this line you will again return from here to here, and then your program will stop. So you are not displaying it. So what I actually want is from so the from the function I want to collect the result. For example, if I want to calculate the power of a to the power if I want to calculate b to the power a, what I will write here, float r equal to, what I will write, pow b comma a, right? What does this mean? So if you remember, this is a function from mat.h. This is also, it is actually calculating b to the power a, right? B to the power a. So anytime if you want like this, or sometimes suppose I want to calculate the square root of b, then I use sqrt, square root of b. So what is this, what is this square root? So it is showing error because square root is a function included in mat.h. So what this line is doing actually is, this line, this part is calculating your square root, and now the square root value will be initialized to r. Okay, so it means that first of all, when this is means this, if you consider this part separately, so this part is calling a function. So it is jumping to a function called sqrt, it is doing something, it is calculating the square root of b, and then how, then that value is returning from the function here and assigning to r. The same thing we can do here also. Suppose here we can write integer integer r equal to this. Okay, and then I can write printf. You can write average is r. Okay, so here if I run this code now, let me run this code. This it is showing some error. Let me check why it is showing a error, because I'm expecting that this function will calculate the average and it will return the value, but see here it is written void. Void means it will not return anything. So I have to change this function again. I have to write here that integer, because I want this average in integer, and I have to change this header or declaration prototype also. As I said, function declaration and function definition head must be same. Just only exception is you no need to type any variable name here or any parameter name here. Okay, and then here you have to run return r1. Okay, now this function will not show any error. This error will go, this should go, I think. If I run this there will not be any error. See, and it is perfectly showing the average is 30. Let me add a new line here, then you will understand. See, see, as I said, you can, you have to ignore this part. So just average is 30. Okay, so this is executing as expected. Okay, so how it is working? So let me explain this code again. There are two variables here, a and b. I want to calculate the average of this, and that average value is required in main only. That average value is required in the main function. Previously what was happening, that I want to print a line, so I was just passing a print line and the value and the length of the line, and then I'm just calling the function. The function was printing that line, and that's it. The task was done. Now the requirement is different. Here what I want, that these function should calculate the average of a and b, and this result of this average, that the average value must return to the main, because I want that value here in main. I want that value of average here to do some calculation. Here I was just printing, but assume that I want that value for some calculation. So here what will happen, this function, the moment you call this function, it will call from here to here. Okay, and with these values, a value, this a, the first value will copy to first parameter, the second value will be copied to second parameter. So after, when it will jump from here to here, after this line, the value of a1 will be 10 and value of b1 will be 50. So here it will be 50 plus 10, so 60. Here 60 by 2, it is 30. And this line is very very important here, and maybe now from here you will understand why we write a return 0 in main, but that also I have not explained yet. So the moment you write return r1, that means that when your function will return from this, returning, I have already explained that whenever a function is returning, it is returning from here to next line, I said right previously. But here actually it is not exactly next line, it will actually return to the same line. But since previously there was nothing to return, so it was directly going to next line. So here when you return it, it will return from here to the line that from where you have called. That means here it will return here. So and this value, so what value it will return, it will return 30. So that 30 will return from here to here, and that 30 will now assign to this r. Okay, so now let me debug this code for you. I'm putting a breakpoint here so that it will be easy for you to understand. Breakpoint means if there is a breakpoint, my functional program will stop here executing. So this is called debugging. I'll post a separate video for debugging for you. So now, so from here, if I start executing, okay, a equal to 15. Now, from this line, if I go for next, I'll click again. Then what will happen? The control will jump from this line to line number 12. It should jump. See, it is jumped from here to here, and now it will execute this line. So now, if you check the value of this a1, the value is 10, and this v1 value is 50. What why it is like this? Because you have jumped from here to here, because you call this function. So when you call this function, there you have passed two parameters here, a and b. So the value of a is 10, so that value is copied to a1, and value of b was 50, so that value is copied to b1. Now if you execute this line here, a1 plus b1 will be 60. So after this line, value of r1 is 60, but after this line, value of r1 will be 30. See now 30. So now it is called return R1. The moment you write return R1, this value of R1 will be returned from here and it will store in R. Okay, just let me see, run it from here. If you write, see, it is returned and it is control is here. So actually what happened internally when you write return from here only, this program is jumped. It is returned and returned from here to this line first of all. And now what value it will return? The value is 30, right? So the value 30 will be returned from here, and now in place of this 30 will come, and this 30 will now assign to this R. Okay, this assigned to R, and then it will print. So this is how it is executing. So I think this part is very important for you to understand that when a function returns. So previously the function was not returning. So now if you check this function head, so this function head is also a return type. This function is returning an integer data, and then this is the function name, and these are the two parameters. So this is the full function. This has all the means facilities of function is available in this function definition. Okay, and this function head. Again, I'm explaining it to you very quickly because this from my experience I know that initially the beginners face some problem to understand how the function is returning and where it is returning. The moment you call this function, the moment you call this function like this, from here it will jump to this function, and moment whatever value this function is returning, just assume that that value will be replaced to this. So here this function is returning 30, so 30 will replace this. So assume, you can assume like this, that integer r equal to 30. So it means that after this line, when control will come here, r value of r is now 30. This is same as I was writing like this, float and r1 equal to POW, and I was writing like this, now P comma A. What I said here that this line, meaning of this line, it will create the B to the power A and calculate B to the power A. So basically you are calling a function PWO which is already defined in math.h. So it will, from here the control will jump to that function. That function will calculate for you B to the power A, and then the value will be returned, and that value is a float value. So the float value will be returned to you, and now the value will be stored in R1. The procedure is same, that you are internally you are also calling a function in that case. Okay, so here if you check now the function prototype here, the function prototype should be integer here because this function is returning a integer value. Okay, and that is the function name, it should be same here. You, instead of just you need to write integer comma integer, you don't need to write parameters here, but if you write parameters, this is also correct, this is also correct, this is also correct. It will show error because I have missed a space here. Now if I run, this is also correct. Okay, so this average is 30. So all the basics are clear. So now let me go to the book and explain you all the things. Uh, if you go here, it is uh, it is written here that the requirement of function, why a function is required. If you read this part, you'll understand that exactly whatever I explained is written here. That if you write a function, it will reduce your code because otherwise a too lengthy code will be there. Also, the another advantage is another people can easily understand your code. Also, it is easy to debug, and any other part is easy to handle your codes. That's why function is very important. And suppose this another advantage is if you have to design a big software. Suppose there is a 10,000 lines of code should be written for to complete a program. So it is better to divide the task among multiple users. Okay, so how they will work, each user may work on a separate function, and then you can combine all this thing. Like here you can see this is the main program, and suppose this is it, we will divide it into multiple modules. So there is one function A, function B, function C, again function B is divided into two function B1 and B2. So all these modules will be can be implemented separately by separate people. That also possible. So this is also one advantage of using functions. It is written here. Other facilities of functions are written here. So I think you will understand it. And this is a program written here is same as printline. I've also used a similar program to explain you the uh, basics of functions. See, they have used the similar examples. Modular programming, Modular programming means if there, as I said, suppose you have till now your assignments are very easy. Suppose after few days, if I give you a very complicated assignment where you have to write a code of 200 or 500 lines, and in that case, just writing everything, every logic in main is not good. Sometime this type of concept will come that you have to calculate the area of a geometric shape, or you need to calculate a some average of some arrays or all. So in that case, it is better to use some function and you do this calculation so that you can use this same code again and again. So that is called modular programming, where you need to partition your code into multiple modules, and each module will consider as a program of as a function. Okay, this is written here. Then elements of a user defined function, all the elements are written here: function definition, function call, function declaration, all these things I have already explained you. You have to read this again, otherwise it will not clear. Then if you see the function definition, there are multiple parts: what is called function name, function type, that is the return type, list of parameters, local variable declaration, function statement, and return statement. So from here there are two parts is define a local variable and function statement. Function statement means actually function body. So here this is function body is also called function statement, and local variable means whatever variable used inside that function are called local variable. I'll explain it in more detail in next lecture. Okay, if I go next, this is written that this there are two these details can be partitioned grouped into two. It is called function header and a function body. So that also I have already explained you. Okay, then name type function header is already I have already explained name and type. Name is same as the variable name. The way you the rules applied for naming variable is also applied here in function. And type means return type. Okay, formal parameter list. Parameter means these are the parameters. Okay, these are the parameters. So you can pass parameter instead of integer, you can also pass to a float variable or any other type of return. So there are some critical issues that I will discuss later. That for example, suppose here if it is float and if you are sub passing a integer value, what will happen? All this case will be discussed later, but not today. Today I'm trying to make it simple. Okay, then after parameter list, function body, I've already explained how to write function body. The last line should be returned if it is returning something. Also normally if in case of void also, if it is void also, we normally return, we write a just a return statement here. It's for good, it's a good programming practice. But without writing return also it will work if here you write void. You have already seen in my print line program there was no return statement. Okay, and then return values and their types, that also I have already explained. You can read it from here also. And function call means here this line is called function call. You are calling a function from here, and the moment you call it, the control of this program will jump from here to that function. That also I have already explained. See, so that's why I was just explaining everything with the example. So once the example is clear, now whatever written in the books is very easy. In the book is very easy. This is how function call is. From function call here, if you are calling a function from here, this call from here control will jump from here to here, and this 10 will be copied to this integer x, and this 5 will be copied to this integer y. Same as here, this a will be copied to this a1, and this b will be copied to this b1. Okay, and then this is an example of function call. Function declaration is called function prototype also, right? See, it is written also known as function prototype. So how to write function prototype, that also I've already explained you. Read it from here for more detail. So okay, you have to read this book. Don't just depend on the or a single example that I said. There may be some point that I missed. That's why reading the book is important, but now it will be easy for you to understand the content of this book. Okay, and then prototype, yes or no, you have to write the prototype normally. As I said, it's common programming practice to go for a prototype. Otherwise, without prototype also a program will run if you define the function before calling them. Okay, category of a function, there are different category. Function with no argument, no return values, that was our first program that I have written as print line. You can revise my video and go to a part that particular point where I have explained it, where I have just written the first print line program, which was just printing a line of size 40. Okay, that was the first program I have written. So in that function, the I was not passing, it was like void print line, and then there was no parameters. So this was function with no argument. No argument means no parameters and no return values. Okay, function with argument and no return value. That was the second program that I have written. The second program, what I was supplying a size of this print line. That first I said print line 40, and then I have written print line 50. So according to the value that I'm supplying, the function was creating a line with proper size. So in that function, what I was doing, a function with argument means parameter, where I was supplying a parameter, but it was not returning anything. It was just printing a line. It was not returning anything. Then a function with argument and one return value. This function is same as this value. Sorry, it was written function with, yes, function with parameter. This function has parameters and also it is returning a value. So it is the third one. Then function with no argument but return a value. That is also possible. Sometimes it is also possible that I will not return any value here. I will not supply any value, but this function will create some do some calculation and return some value. It may be possible. For example, suppose you have created a function for time, get time. Get time means it will collect the system time. For example, currently the machine is showing 1836, though it is a wrong time, but it will collect the system time. It will process something to a particular format, and that format will be returned from here to here. So in this case, see, if you want to collect the time of a laptop, so you don't need to pass anything from here to here. So you'll just write get time, and this function will collect the time of the machine, and then it will convert it to the required format, and then that final result will be returned from here to here. So in this case, it is following in this category: function with no argument but it is returning a value. Function that return multiple values. Function that return multiple values is also, for example, here if you see, it is just returning one values, returning one. It is just returning the value of the variable r1. But it may be also possible that sometime it is required that from a function we may need to return multiple values. But always remember, though is written here, but it's not possible in C. In C you cannot return multiple values. For example, you cannot write here integer r1 or a1. It is not possible. It may be possible in other programming languages, but at least in C, C++, and also in Java, this type of return is not possible. Always remember that a function in C can only return a single value. If you want to return multiple values, there is the alternative option that I will mostly discuss in next class, or it is, if it is not possible to cover in next class, I'll discuss in next class. Okay, there is a way to return multiple values, but not in this way. Every time if you write return, then it will only return a single value, this the value of a single variable. Okay, no argument and no return. So these are the examples of all these functions here. There are five categories. They're saying category 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here one by one they have explained all these categories. So I'm not explaining them in detail because I have already explained all this to you. But you read it here, maybe their examples are different, so you'll understand some more points here if you go for this. And this function, that is recursion, is a very important concept of C, but it is not possible to cover here. I think it's a very big subject of any programming language, or any, or also if we consider the complete algorithmic concept of programming language, of computer science, then this concept of recursion is very important. So it's deserve a complete independent lecture. So I'll cover recursion in a completely independent lecture, mostly after 2 3 lectures, when I will finish all the basics of programming. Okay, so after recursion, the next point is passing array to a function. So that part I'll discuss now. uh, cut. So I'm stopping this lecture here. So next lecture will start from how to pass an array to a function.